I can't stop dreaming of you at home. I love you so, and I want you to know. It's you, you, me. My heart belongs to you. I keep your picture by my bed every night. They bring me closer. The feeling I have inside. I miss you so. Don't want you to know. Oh, love is so strong. I'll be faithful.
What up? What up? What up? What up, man? What's up? What's up with you, Doug? What's up with you, man? Um, yeah. So we about to have a little fun. What's up, Gunner Warrior? What's up with you, Gunner Warrior? I need to holler at you, brother. I Yeah, we need to talk because I'm about to start offering Salesforce, and I need to talk to you because I might need a Salesforce developer that can work remote, training students. I'm gonna pay market rate. I'll pay market rate for it. But I gotta get everything set up. I'm working on some stuff, man. I got a meeting in a minute. I'm hyped. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to This thing about to take off. I got some different stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys now. I'm probably gonna have to push class back. I was gonna do it on the 17th, but I'm gonna probably have to push class back to the. Hey, what's up, Omega? I'm probably gonna have to push class back to the first week of April, and it'll be worth your while. I'm thinking April 8th, Wednesday, April 8th. The reason I'm saying it is because I need to set some stuff up. It's taking time. I have a meeting with some people today. I'm not gonna say nothing, but this is about to be gargantuan. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Now, gargantuan is an old movie from the 60s, I think, early 70s. It's like these big, gigantic creatures or what. Anyway, I'm dating myself. I wasn't around that back then, that shit. And if I was, I barely remember, right? I was like months old, so that don't count, right? But it was a hell of a movie, man, back in the day. I used to love them little cartoon movies, not cartoon, but the Godzilla movies and shit they used to show on Saturday mornings at about 11. Actually, it would come on around the same time as All American Wrestling. And All American Wrestling, if you don't know about All American Wrestling, you really didn't have no childhood. I'm sorry. If you was in the 80s and you didn't watch All American Wrestling on USA Network on at 11 o'clock, right? Then something is wrong with you. Because that was the bomb. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I used to love about All American Network. It was, All American Wrestling used to come on. I used to love the little anthem that would come. I used to switch over to USA Network just to hear the damn the intro, man, because that shit was hot. Like it was crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let me go ahead and get this. Let me see. I think this is the intro right here. Let me let y'all hear it. Let me tell you something. Wasn't nothing like the 80s, boy. The 80s was the shit. Anyway, let me go ahead and get started with this video. You guys see the subject of the video. The video is Phil versus House Negroes. Now, I was going to make this a part of my series, The Audacity of Niggerdom series. I was going to put it in there. But I said, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and break it down, right? Now, there was this guy who's a black conservative. Now, I'm not like him, but we probably don't agree on about 25% of what they say in this documentary. But what the 75% that we agree on is so powerful that I wanted to come on here, and I can't show it because I don't want to get this man flagging my damn channel. I done spoke with him before. He probably don't remember me. But some years ago, when he first premiered this documentary called Runaway Slave, and it's by a guy by the name of C.L. Bryant. C.L. Bryant, like Kobe Bryant. C, like Charlie, last name Wills. Anyway, Charlie for C.L. L is like, hey, L Boogie, Lauryn Hill. Y'all remember? Anyway, C.L. Bryant, like Kobe Bryant. Check him out. He has a channel, Runaway Slave. Check him out, man. He's a conservative. Now, of course, I don't agree with some of the stuff that these black conservatives, this is where they fuck up, is on that 20%, 20, 25%. With black folks, you gotta cross over at least 90% for them to fuck with you. You just do. Black people ain't gonna fuck with you if you coming to them and you giving them some shit that's watered down. They gon' oh man, they full of shit. In certain emotional points, you have to acknowledge, not because it's wrong, but because they know you full of shit if you don't acknowledge that shit. Especially when people really study history and know some shit. They ain't finna just let you say anything. But I'm about to go into this documentary. I want y'all to hear it because I can't play the whole thing. I can't play it out in the open, obviously, for obvious reasons, because he'll be at my ass about the money, about flagging it. Let me see if I can find it. I can't even find my damn headphones I had over here, because these headphones ain't gonna let. I don't like taking them off. I really don't. Let me go ahead and just what you call. So this is the intro of it. I ain't saying that, man. I ain't saying that. I just came in. What's up, truth as I know it. But this is the intro to the video. Guys, I'm gonna tell you what you're about to see is a lot of the conservative. I'm just helping you to be able to identify real conservative principles from bullshit. I'm gonna go ahead and skip a little of the intro because he goes to like. So what happens is in 2010 he went to the March on Washington commemoration thing or something they had 47 years after the March on Washington. Al Sharpton had one simultaneously. Glenn Beck, the conservative talk show guy, had booked the Mall on Washington, and what's the name? Al Sharpton had a march too. So let's go into it. And let's see what they talking about. Let's skip a little bit because I don't want to play all because it was kind of long.
Are we free at last? The devil is a lie. No, we're not. Matter of fact, I feel that we're going backwards. Educational wise, economics, the health disparity. Is the black community free at last, in your opinion? No, sir. No, sir. Is there anything in this country, in your opinion, that the color of your skin would stop you from doing? No.
So see, this guy's a black conservative. He's going around talking to different black. Let me go back a little bit because some of this stuff. Let me go back because I watched it yesterday, and I forgot I bought this back 10 years ago and forgot all about it.
You don't know who you messing with. We know how to sucker punch you because we just begun to fight, and we're not gonna let you turn back the clock.
You know who that is, right? Reverend Al. What's up? What's up, Elliot? So, what the hell?
A lot of people over there are saying the same things that we're saying here. What makes them racist and you not? No. Who has credibility?
That's Joe Madison, the Black Eagle.
Is Alveda King credible? Who has credibility? They are the enemy, man. They are the enemy. These are people that want to end Social Security. These are people who don't want minimum wage. They fight the very same thing.
Now, he talking about bottom feeder shit. Fuck minimum wage. If you black and you think being black is synonymous with minimum wage, you part of the problem.
Established 47 years ago. Are we free at last? The devil is a lie.
No, we're not. As a matter of fact, I feel that we're going backwards.
By show of hands, or everybody type 1 in the chat if you feel like you're a slave. Type a 1 in the chat if you're a slave today. If you're a slave and you're a slave of whatever, and, you know, of course you're gonna have to explain it now, but you know, and send me an email, I might let you on the chat. But tell me who's a slave today. Somebody type a 1. Elliot, you're a slave, brother. I'm shocked. Slave to technology. Elliot, type what you mean a little bit.
The health disparity.
Is the black community free at last, in your opinion?
No, sir. No, sir.
Is there anything in this country, in your opinion, that the color of your skin would stop you from doing? No.
See, some of these people he's talking to in this crowd are telling the truth. So he's at Al Sharpton's event. Some of them folks were like, no, man, I ain't no damn slave to the wage system. Okay. I'm just going, I want to hear what people say when they say they slaves. I don't think I'm a slave to bull any damn thing. I don't. I'm free as a bird. I can fly and do whatever I want to do. Nobody can stop me but the good Lord and me. That's it. That's what I believe. Now, are there things that I can't do? Yeah, but shit, nobody can do. Can't anybody just be the president of the United States, right? Into a debt system. Okay, so you're talking about the Federal Reserve. I get that. Now, I agree with that there is a form of slavery when they're able to extract wealth from us against our will. Now, you can denounce your American citizenship and do some other shit, but you know, technically that would count as slavery in that regard. But I'm talking about as it pertains to the black community and what you can do as a black person as opposed to a white person. Are you a slave in that regard? Is there something that a white person can do that you can't do? Now, there are certain things that we all agree that, you know, when it comes to this, is what black conservatives fuck up at. A lot of them do, is that they try to act like shit ain't different. If I'm with a white woman and me and her playing on the street or some shit and some cops ride by, I might get fucked up. Now, I don't even like white women, but I'm just saying that is true. So it's certain things your ass can't do. You know what I'm saying? So I do see that regard, and I think that has to do with economics. But let's keep going.
Are we free at last? Yeah. We are. Yeah, I think we are. So the color of our skin doesn't really keep us back now. No, it doesn't. What does? I think it's...
Yep, good point. Yep, that's right. Truth as I know it. I think that's one of the biggest things. Slaves didn't get paid. Now, somebody will say clothes. I heard some idiot say that. But that's dumb as hell. So you get me up 4 days in the morning. I work till night for some clothes on my back. I'm talking about some throwaway clothes. Now, I ain't talking about no damn shit, $2,000 suits or some shit. People stupid, man.
And self-enthusiasm.
We have to come to the reality that we live in a racist society. The United States of America is built on white supremacy. Yes,
I admit that.
The United States of America is built on white supremacy and racism. And black...
Of course, that's one of them Black Panther members, the new Black Panther Party members talking.
And white America needs to come to terms with that. A lot of our people don't want to come to terms with that. White America doesn't want to come to terms with it. Some of white America does know, but they don't want to deal with it. And they have a responsibility. Some white people will say, well, I wasn't here. I had nothing to do with that. But you will have the legacy of that.
See, her argument is not as nuanced as it needs to be. That shit sound like some emotional bullshit, what she just said. Like, I want you should feel sorry about the fact. They don't have to feel sorry. You need to come with real tangible ideals about what it is you want. They not doing that. That's where they fuck up at. So let me keep going.
This is the kind of stuff that causes trouble. You're digging in a wound that's trying to heal.
See, now this is this black conservative up here arguing with this guy, screaming, talking about you're digging in an old wound. Some shit, if it's infected, you need to take that shit. If it's infected and it got dirt and germs and bacteria, you need to pour some peroxide in that mug. wrap it up and so it can heal. Shit can't heal when you take wealth from people and you do shit to them, and then you just tell them to work hard. This is where the conservatives fuck up at. This is where the conservatives fuck up at. You can't just say let the shit heal. The shit ain't gonna heal if it's infected. You're gonna fuck around and have to get amputated. Let's keep going. Some of this shit need to be talked about and dealt with. This is why it hasn't died. It's gonna keep festering until white and black conservative people understand, the Republican Party and all them understand, you fuck your people and the Democrats, everybody fuck black people over. And not on some emotional bullshit like, oh, you need to feel sorry for me. But look, what are the effects of that? And how do we move in the direction of fixing these problems? If you're not going to deal with that, then you can't just say, well, you got this and you got that. You should get over it. And then turn around and say, well, I'm where I am because I have a low IQ or some shit like that, which I have totally debunked. But let's keep going.
Alarmed me was what I was seeing on television was this idea of reclaiming the dream. If the Tea Party weren't trying to reclaim the dream, I would not have come. I would not
have been paying attention to this. Nobody was reclaiming the dream. Okay. The man said we're restoring honor. These people came up here, they're good, honest people who love God, and they want to bind our country together. You want to dig out the old crap.
Someone was in the slave house praying for the master.
They're using this issue to slip socialism in this country, and they're doing it on the sneak by. If we don't do something quick. You know, your yelling doesn't make you right. Just because you yell doesn't make you right. I grew up in the ghetto. I know what it's like to be called boy and nigger. You don't have to try to get through to me. But at some point in my life, I gave up. I'm an American. And I did the very best I could to overcome the obstacles. And some people did close doors because of my face. Some didn't like the size of my nose. But the fact is, when you push through, it doesn't matter whether
what's up, Mr. Jones?
Jew, rich, poor. There are people who will close the door on anybody. And you're going to have to step over that and do the best you can.
When we look at the racial division in our country, that here on this day, 47 years later, blacks would have feelings that their skin color is keeping them down, and that whites would feel guilty over something that they perhaps had nothing to do.
See there? See how this is what fucks them up.
Why continue to deal with the past instead of looking toward our future?
Now, take in mind, this is the problem. They talking about the past, and this is, oh damn. They talking about the past and all this stuff, but where they fail to realize, where they really mess up at, is they want to ignore sundown towns and shit like that, where people have lost. This is where, like I said, I'm gonna agree with about 75% of what he say. This part, I get why people are bitter and angry. What's up, Jaleel? So he from Louisiana. He from Grand Cane, Louisiana.
My great-great-grandmother was
good point, Doug.
And my great-great-grandfather was a slave right here in DeSoto Parish in Louisiana. He was emancipated, and many times the slaves had property. The masters would actually allow them to buy portions of property. People like my grandfather wound up with a pretty nice parcel of land. I wound up with it. I have 64 acres that I live on.
That's how it is in the South. There's plenty of black folks with land in the South. It ain't even no big deal down here.
It's all a part of our combined history. What I'm talking about here, slavery, ex-slavery. When you put it all together, it tells a story of triumph. It really does. I'm a story of triumph, just walking down this road and so forth, being on my own property as far as I can see. As they say, even though the good Lord gives me the grace to say it. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that.
This guy's an interesting case because he's a black conservative who came to grips with some of the stuff that the Democrat Party pushes on black people, like abortion and certain things, and he had problems with it. He's talking about individual choice and freedom and liberty. He started talking about stuff like that. When you talk like that, you're gonna come at odds with a lot of black people. You just are.
This country was given to us divinely.
See, you can't say stuff like that. You know, I do think that, I'm gonna be honest with you. Do I think God sovereignly allowed America to be established and for us to be here today? Yes, I do. So I don't think that's wrong. But you know, when you talking to a black person and you say something like that, of course he's speaking in front of a bunch of white people on this scene. When you're talking to us as black people, we don't want to hear that. You beat my ancestors down and put them in chains and raped them, and you know, the black folks don't want to hear that. We need a black male politician agenda, and we need to put money behind it. Yeah, we do. We do.
Understand that government is not God. And we came to bring this message that if you will not listen, then you need to pack your bags, both Republicans and Democrats and independents, and get out of our house.
I thought it was a great honor to be chosen.
Now, I don't think the Tea Party was a fake march. A fake. I don't think they were fake. My brother's a member of it. I know a lot of people. I've been to their events. A lot of that shit was real. It was not fake, like how people like to say it was.
And Americans came from all over the country to be at this particular march. And truly, there was 1.5 million people there. When we get up to speak to that many people, a sea of people like that, a little boy from Shreveport, Louisiana, being able to have that type of platform is a very humbling experience. It really is. I've not always been a conservative. I was a true believer in the liberal cause. If I could have led any conservative to the gallows, I would.
And now, America,
That guy on stage and the guy who talks at Tea Party personalities in a church situation. You have to be doctor, sometimes lawyer, psychiatrist, all of those things. It takes a calling to do that. When I talk about babies in the womb, everybody says in the congregation, yeah, Pastor, that's right. But when I start talking about entitlements and how a certain political agenda is being pawned off on us, there became a direct conflict between me, Tea Party. My deacons showed great disfavor with it.
So he basically started teaching principles about individual responsibility. The same stuff you hear on a lot of these YouTube channels, going after the whole baby mama thing, going after making babies and not being a father, being a half-ass dad, all that, right? You can't talk about that type of stuff. Old school principles that your granddad used to teach you. They had a problem with that because they couldn't spit the Willie Lynch chip out. Thank you for asking for some likes, Mr. Jones. I appreciate that. I would like some likes, y'all. Thank you. What's up, Georgia boy?
I lost my pulpit because a conservative viewpoint wasn't the right message that they wanted to come from their pastor.
So they kicked him out.
This very day would have been my 9th anniversary here at this church. There would have been a lot of festivities, visiting churches, food, celebrating the pastor's anniversary.
So they kicked him out the church because he was conservative.
I am very proud to have the opportunity of being here in America. I'm very proud to see that there is purpose in what God did with my foreparents, because through it all, it has led me to where I am. And I look at the foolishness of how we squander what God has given to us in this country as a people.
What's up, Think Tank?
Because it is necessary now for us to be the best where we are.
Now, that was some fire. That was fire right there. Let me go back a couple of seconds.
With what God has given to us. Verse 3.
So
I am very proud.
Listen to what he say now.
To have the opportunity of being here in America. I'm very proud to see that there is purpose in what God did with my foreparents, because through it all, it has led me to where I am now. And I look at the foolishness of how we squander what God has given to us in this country as a people of color, because it is necessary now for us to be the best where we are.
Yep.
With what God has given to us.
Come on, say amen. That's a real one right there. That's a real point. What do you have at your disposal as an African American, as the wealthiest black people on the planet with the most opportunity on the planet? Are you taking advantage of that? Or are you bitching about some shit that happened to your ancestors, which is valid? Unlike this guy here, I say that's valid what you're talking about, and I get it. But at the same time, you know, you do have to take advantage of what's in front of you guys.
Why are we still thinking we're not free at last? What ideas are keeping us down? I've got to travel this country to see if there are others out there who feel the same way I do. You said something that was very interesting. You said that what's invading the community is there are some who are totally unaware that there are shackles upon them. I honestly believe deception that's going on in our community.
Watch him now.
The players are the gatekeepers of our community. That means the community organizers, that means the religious leaders, that means our political leaders, and our professionals are all complicitory in maintaining a system that has kept our community down.
Now, don't that sound like something Umar Johnson would say? Let's keep going. That's the same thing Tariq said. Now he finna talk about socialism. I know I'm gonna get some detractors.
The whole agenda of the left has been one of taking decisions out of the hands of the people directly concerned and transferring them to bureaucrats, to people who are insulated from what the public wants.
The progressives are those people that believe government is...
That was Herman Cain. This is Herman Cain talking. That was Tommy Sowell just talking a second ago.
And the individual is not. The progressives want bigger government, more taxes, and they want the government to influence the individual's life from cradle to grave.
The progressives are happy just to have the government leave the means of productions in other people's hands and just tell the other people what to do. And that's politically much more viable, because if you own the means of production and things go wrong, you clearly are the ones blamed for it. What they're doing is much more like fascism, because the fascists as well left the private property in private hands, and they just told them what to do. That enabled the politicians to escape any blame for what happened. And then they can always blame it on the people who own the property, even if they were acting only under a government order. Once the progressives became too well known to fly under their own name. They started calling themselves liberals. Once the liberals had sufficiently discredited themselves, they went back to calling themselves progressives.
When I talk about socialism, I'm talking about centralized economic planning, nationalizing of production, creation and expansion of a welfare state and entitlement class. Well, those things have had a very bad effect upon the Black community.
I do not believe that we have to look to a redistribution system for our economic well-being. And socialism is rooted in covetousness. Somebody has something somebody else doesn't have, so we hire politicians to take it from them. That's theft. And it is a continuum of their ultimate plans to build a great society.
Guys, you'll never get ahead wanting somebody to come take something from somebody else or wanting to see somebody else shit taken because they got it somehow through ill-gotten means. Yeah, racism existed, but what unlike, and I will talk about sundown towns. I talk about all that shit. I believe in reparations, but I'm not stupid. I do think that you have to credit the Industrial Revolution and individual freedom and liberty, and many of what many people did in business, although we weren't allowed to participate a lot of times. You do have to credit that as to why America is what it is. Innovation, freedom, individual choice, liberty. I can say that and still turn around and say, but your ass owe me reparations because you wouldn't let me participate a lot of times. When I tried to participate, you kicked me down, you did this, you did that. See how that worked? I don't have to say, well, because I wasn't allowed to participate, the government need to come take everybody's thing and completely destroy the whole system and give me what's taken after they take their 85%, give me that 15%, split evenly amongst everybody. That's the opposite of what I'm talking about.
The worst thing that could have happened to our community was that which took place in the Great Society program of Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Now you got a lot of niggas that love the damn Great Society. Let me keep going.
Introduced government programs that came into our community that said simply to the mothers in that community, we'll provide you with home, with housing, with food for your baby, all of your needs. We will, the big government will.
I don't have no problem with corporate welfare. I think that's the thing. I want to get rid of that too. I don't have a problem with that. That's not capitalism. That's some other shit. It's not capitalism when your ass making billions of dollars and you getting a check from taxpayers. That's fucked up. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
The one thing that is required is that you not have a man in that house. And they single-handedly...
Hold on. I just kind of swept through that. Let me go back.
It is a continuum of their ultimate plans to build a great society.
The worst thing that could have happened to our community.
I hope, Menace, you're not saying I'm talking about bootstrapping. We can talk about that later. Because I can definitely, I would love to put the link, email me. We can talk about that, bootstrapping. Okay? Because I will make the case, this is my case, guys. The Black community or Black people in this country were never been allowed a lot of, I ain't gonna say never, but a lot of times we're not allowed to have certain things. And when we did get them around the turn of the century, when we started proliferating our wealth and doing certain things, we weren't allowed, they would literally take guns and torches, come burn it down and just take it. Or then the Great Depression stamped out a lot of Black wealth that we couldn't recover from as fast as white people could, because Fannie Mae and Freddie allowed them to move to the suburbs. So it's a reason behind that shit. But Black wealth, even in spite of all that, Blacks living below poverty was taking a dive from slavery, from us being released from slavery to up into the 60s. It took a spike during the Great Depression, but up into the 60s, it still was taking a dive, was going down lower and lower and lower. Had we not had a lot of these government programs in this economy today, in America today, had we not done a lot of this integration shit that we did, I honestly believe there would be a Black Silicon Valley. Part of Silicon Valley would be Black. There would be Black, our Black Hollywood would be much larger than what it is. A lot of shit that we think is you know. So when I hear people say black people pulling themselves up by their bootstraps doesn't work, well, I agree and I disagree. I think that the opposite of bootstrap, the argument to me now, unless somebody can tell me something different, the opposite of bootstrap is government. And I'm sorry, this shit has fucked black people over. We done been injected into the government ideology for thousands of years. I mean, not for thousands, but for the last 40, 50 years, we've been government. Let me start back. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I'm gonna let this thing keep playing.
Was that which took place in the Great Society program of Lyndon Baines Johnson. He introduced government programs that came into our community that said simply to the mothers in that community, we'll provide you with home, with housing, with food for your baby, all of your needs. We will, the big government will. The one thing that is required is that you not have a
Minutes, I'm sorry, and this the thing. You got to spit the chip out, brother. I'm sorry. I mean that with the utmost respect. You got to spit that chip out. Asking somebody to give you reparations is not going to take you further than running your own businesses. These people ain't finna give us shit. So what? We gonna just come and make a case? Hey, you owe us. Okay, good luck with that. I think I agree with NT 2002. You gotta ask. You gotta build your own shit. Then go get reparations. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm for reparations. But how you get there is a whole different case. The reasons that the Japanese got money for internment camp people was because they had the third largest economy in the world. You got to kick ass, man. Then you ask for reparations. You can't ask for reparations where we are right now, dealing with the shit we did. Everybody is government. Why do you think everybody is on K Street, huh? I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't even get that point. Let me keep going.
And they single-handedly destroyed the black family.
Lyndon Johnson knew that supporting civil rights legislation would tie black Americans to the Democrat Party. Progressives, as they insinuated themselves more and more into government, built on that. In the case of black Americans, it comes down to that. Look what was done to us and the injustice of it, which is true. It was unjust. But keeping that alive forever is...
Now, see, that's some bullshit right there. It's not keeping it alive. It's until you right the wrongs. You can't say I'm gonna right some wrongs and ignore the shit. If I took your wallet and then somebody come on, all right, everybody move along. Wait a minute, man, I need my wallet back. That's what they're saying. This is where the black conservatives fuck up at.
It really can't be overstated that what progressives have done with black Americans is probably the most successful thing that they have done in terms of their agenda. And
that was a hell of a point. That is the most successful thing they did with black people. I mean, was black people and how they did us. That's the most successful thing they've ever implemented, is the mentality that they gave us, that somehow we go beg white folks to give us some shit that will never happen. I ain't saying that. That's not what I'm saying. You only got two choices, man, in this shit. Nobody gives a fuck about us. It's either you get off your ass and start bootstrapping whether you like that shit or not, take advantage of the resources that you have, and start aggregating power, wealth, and influence on a small scale first, and try to get some small shit passed, like just some legislation like an executive order for the descendants of slaves at the SBA for a $10,000 loan that's not based on credit. Shit like that. What he's saying, why do you think everybody lobbies the government for handouts? K Street is where all the lobbyists are. Okay. Lobbyists cost money. Where you gonna get the money from, brother? Huh? Where we gonna get the money from?
Americans being a sort of a test tube for shepherding.
I wouldn't even start in Washington. That's not what I would do. That's not what I'm like Dr. Claude Anderson. What was the first floor when Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about you said vote for what? Politics is ran by money. I agree. I had a video the other day talking about how politics ran by money. But it's a way you do that shit.
Black Americans away from the church, away from education, away from family.
The black family, which survived centuries of slavery and generations of Jim Crow, has started coming apart since the welfare state spread from the 1960s. Why is it that in the generations that were closer to slavery, there were more two-parent families than there are today? Under slavery itself, most black kids were raised in two-parent families.
After slavery, there were certain years where the black marriage rate was even slightly higher than the white marriage rate. And up until 1960, over 80% of black kids were born to married mothers and fathers. It wasn't until the 1960s where we started to see this shift, where now in the inner cities, almost 90% of black kids in the city are born to unwed mothers. And overall in the community, it's almost 70%.
Is the black community, Pastor, in your opinion, a prime candidate for socialist programs? The instrument, the hammer of the left, are what Karl Marx calls the proletariat. And the proletariat are...
Here we go. Menace, get out your feelings, brother. Where are you going to get the money to bootstrap? The wealthiest people on the planet who has a wealth equal to the 16th. If we were a nation, we would be richer than Spain. Fuck you mean where we gonna get the money from? This is the problem right here. Look, comments like this. Come on, everybody look at this. Where are you gonna get the money to bootstrap? We can't continue to spread the bootstrap gospel while black people don't believe in that shit. They listen to niggas like you. That's the problem. Shit, I tell you what, ask the Koreans who have been wealthy than the motherfucker selling our women weave. Just the money we spend on weave is enough to get us started. I want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. That shit pissing me off, man. Get out your feelings, man.
To our poor. And as you look at...
In fact, man, black people ain't never really tried bootstrap. When we did, the shit was actually working. Black Tulsa, Black Wall Street. The best and brightest of our communities now work in white businesses, the best and bright. I work in corporate America. You can't compare us to a country. It's totally different. See, that's what I'm saying. So what the fuck is your answer? Beg some white motherfuckers that know they took that shit from us to give it to us? That shit stupid as hell. That shit dumb. You ain't got no answers. And you sound like Yvette Carnett. Hey, you owe me. You owe me. Bitch, I ain't give it to you. Now what? Now what? How our government take over that? Exactly. I'm the one said that shit. You right. I know. Our government set that shit up. But what I'm telling you is there is wealth that's being diverted. So I'm up here trying to change our mindset and mentality, and you argue with me. Well, the government got, so you think everything is set up just through government? Fuck out of here. I can't fuck like that.
African American community, we fit in the lower classes of people.
I don't see answers. I see a motherfucker whose ego is flared up because I called your bullshit. That's what I see. I'm not, look, yeah, I'm upset because I'm passionate about black people. You're right. I am. So when I hear people tell us this shit ain't gonna work, when people listen, look, man, most black people are overwhelmingly Democrat. We overwhelmingly practice socialist principles in the way we think. Most black people are not capitalistic in any way. Most of us aren't. For every one business black people has, there are 115 black people. Koreans and Asians, 1 in 13. Whites, 1 in 50. Hispanics, 1 in 60 something. Black people aren't really capitalistic. We don't believe, a lot of us don't even think like that. We don't. Black people think job, black people think employment. That's it. I don't see you having an answer. I can just about guess where you're from. Real talk.
The socialists will use poor people to beat up our system in order to cause transformation to take place.
These policies that are not talking about empowering, they're talking more about enslaving, but not enslaving as it did in the past, the physical body, but now the will and the mind to want to go out and achieve, because all of a sudden we're saying that the government will give you enough by which you will subsist by.
That right there was it right there. The enslavement of the will. That's what it's about. The black will has been enslaved. When Jason Black had his documentary, there was a commercial and Don Peebles was on there talking. He said the entrepreneurial spirit has been beaten or taken from black people. Aren't entrepreneurial, and for us to sit up here and say that, we full of shit. Black people aren't entrepreneurial. Black people don't think business. That's not how black people think. That's not how we operate. Because if we were, guys, black people are the best basketball players in the world. Black people are the best football players in the world. When it comes to business, black people are not even, we don't even think business. That's not even some shit we even entertain. We don't think like that. Now we just lying. Well, that don't work. We didn't try it. That's not what we do. That's not what we do. The last time we tried it, shit was fucked up. Now we've bought into socialism so hard, it's destroyed our families. So you can't just sit and say we tried now, because shit, even though if we tried that shit today, it probably wouldn't be as much of an impediment now that it was back in the 20s, 100 years ago. But today, our mind is fucked up.
When you drive through the black communities, you see, young men that are doing nothing with their lives. Well, guess what? I mean, that foments an angst. They have to target that against someone. And unfortunately, it's against their own brothers. And look at the incarceration rates. Look at the dropout rates. We're going in the wrong direction.
Not only has big government enslaved America's poor, but now we're looking at the extension of government into all communities. What broke down in Black America is just a picture of what's breaking down in the rest of society.
All of a sudden, you have the big house, and the big house is located up here in Washington, D.C., or your state governments, or maybe even your local governments. You see certain individuals in the black community continue to see themselves as the intercessories. And I have to tell you, they're the overseers on this new plantation.
A lot of these so-called community civil rights leaders, they get a couple gold nuggets at the expense of the entire community. Look at, ride through any community, see a lot of buildings in ruins. But you'll see these preachers driving a Mercedes, a Jaguar. They're getting wealth while we're suffering.
And what these people are, in many ways, are race hustlers. That's how they derive their power, by making them believe that the white man has the foot on their neck. And no matter what you do in this society, you can never be equal. You can never have economic freedom. Wealth is a bad thing. So let us be your leaders, and let us be.
See, that's really the mindset of most black people, what they describe it. What that brother just said. That's the mindset of most black people.
CL, you see, the plantation used to be where you had the slave map.
You know what, Aaron W., I'm going to say this, man. Black people in America are very wasteful. We spend more of every dime than any other. There's a lot of shit we can do before we start talking about it. Bootstrapping doesn't work. Black people have the lowest credit scores. Black people spend more out of their dollars. Black people spend more of their own personal money than any other group in the country. Black people spend every dollar they get. I'm just telling the truth. Sometimes when you hold that mirror to a black person's face, they don't want to see. If there's like somebody 400 pounds, man, it ain't nothing I can do. I got bad genetics. I don't give a fuck what your genetics are. You 400 pounds, maybe you need to stop doing this. That shit don't work. Yes, it does work if you do it and implement it right. But I'm a living witness to that shit.
And his family, and he owned slaves. Today, it's not just that plantation. It's called the government plantation. It's what many of these programs are trying to enslave all of us on. The size and scope and reach of government is the new plantation.
The slavery of the mind and of the will.
That's
Are we
it.
truly not free at last?
Dependency that
I wonder if I go and get the generation from 100 years ago and switch and put them in today, and take this generation and switch and put them in 100 years ago, what will happen? Let's take the millennials. Let's take brothers like Menez and put him on back 100 years ago. And let's take the people from 100 years ago and put them up here today where they couldn't even walk down the sidewalk without still having to step in the rain because a white man walking down the sidewalk, right? And then take these people today, they can just keep walking and bump into themselves, and keep walking like ain't shit wrong. You ain't got to worry about getting lynched and that type of shit. And let's see how shit would go.
This was necessary on government programs in the 60s. Do not serve the people today that have been liberated. The civil rights movement was not only to liberate people physically, but the civil rights movement was also to liberate a particular mindset of dependency. Here we are coming into Atlanta, Georgia, a place that was the heartland of the Confederacy. Slaves bought and sold here in Atlanta, the epicenter of the civil rights movement, birthplace of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Here we are on Peachtree Street, formerly Whitehall. This very street is where slaves were bought and sold. Have the sons and daughters of former slaves traded one form of slavery for yet another? Have we traded one form of slavery, the shackles, for another form of slavery?
I'll say yes, but I won't say it was voluntarily traded. You know what I'm saying? It was a compromise trade. A lot of times when you take something away from somebody, you have to give them something.
I have noticed
that was some deep shit right there. He said when you take something away from somebody, you have to give them something.
that most Africans that come to this
Now watch this right now. This is an immigrant. Now watch what he say.
country don't necessarily want to associate themselves with the American black. Why is that?
It is because they feel we have lost our footage. They know that we are intelligent, and they can't understand how people in America, however, be still enslaved in their minds in this day and time when freedom is all around you.
Y'all heard that shit? Freedom is everywhere. You still enslaved in your mind. We don't have. What do you have? Do you have a job making $50,000 a year? Do you have to drive a brand new car? Do you have to live in a $2,000 a month apartment? Do you have to wear $200 shoes? Do you have to have $1,000 weave? Do you have to get your hair done twice a month for $350? Do you have to, see what I'm saying? Black people are conspicuous in their consumption. Guess who said that? Marcus Garvey. So no. Best black people are the best dressed. Black people are gonna look like you. It's hard. You'll be hard pressed to go out on it's Monday night. I take your ass to Magic City tonight. Watch how many motherfuckers in there making it rain, just throwing money like it ain't no thing. Watch now.
Are we too dependent upon government as a community?
Yes, we are. And the government, honestly, is not for the black community. They say they are, but they're not.
That's very interesting that you would say that, because so many of us really believe that government is our answer.
No,
Why do
it's
you
not.
say it's not?
Because look at us now. Look how we are.
What was the pride we once had? Strength in the face of adversity. For most Black Americans, our history has been a difficult road, but freedom has always been at our core. Is there something from our past that can help us today?
Thanks, Blacksmith. I'm not gonna be able to finish it,
The
but
Underground Railroad, pathway to freedom. A dangerous trail, but the reward was greater than gold. The Underground Railroad was a network of secret routes that runaway slaves would travel to escape slavery. Some paths followed rivers, others would wind through dense forest. Guides on the railroad were known as conductors. Harriet Tubman conducted 13 trips to the South, rescuing more than 70 slaves. She became known as Moses in homage to the biblical Moses who brought the Israelites out of Egypt. After months of traveling, mostly by night, the runaway slaves would arrive to freedom in the northern states or Canada. Over rough and dangerous terrain, they made their way, but every step down the path was a step closer to freedom. Right here, through something like this, a runaway slave would have to make his way. They would have on their backs probably all of their earthly possessions. It had to be a desperate trail. They would risk anything and everything, trying to find their way to freedom. Here, right in front of us, is the Tom Bigby River in Alabama, former pathway of the Underground Railroad.
so
Some of them would have to swim out to a boat or a barge that would be coming to get them.
we skip some of this. You just talking. Hold on.
We have paid a high price.
Now he finna talk about Selma. He in Selma now.
Started from Brown Chapel. We didn't get no further to where the light on. That's where me and my mom got turned around.
They don't turn that one off.
It's there on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So that everybody knows that that is where people were turned around,
Right.
denied their right
To go to Montgomery.
to march for freedom.
Right. And he was right to vote. And that's all we wanted. I want my daughter this Sunday.
Now this guy talking didn't have the right to vote when he was a child. And just think about that shit. Now I know you like, well, you can't vote till you're 18. Still, you don't have that right. So if you were 18, you don't have the right. You literally got people today still living that could not vote when they was 18. That had to get those rights. Think about that shit.
You come back up here again by yourself. Think about that life and think about your grandmother and think about me. Even though when everything is happening, I'd rather live through the greatest country in the world to live in.
Will the wounds of the past be our undoing, or will they heal and become the scars of lessons learned, marks that every warrior carries as reminders of victory?
Now here in my hometown, Montgomery, riding by a statue of Francis Marion, the guy who was the father of medicine who used to experiment on slaves. They got a statue right out in front of Montgomery, the state capitol. The guy that used to experiment on slaves without any anesthesia. Used to do all types of evil shit.
Now, this is a circle, and it has the names of various ones. Rosa Parks.
We skip certain
very
sections.
First date is 1954. Nothing I can think of today that my skin color would hinder me from doing. Why? Because of what happened here.
What he's saying is basically we're not where we were 200 years ago, 100 years ago. We're not where we were then. We are further than where we were socially. I'll agree with that. But that has benefits. I think that does have benefits.
Many Black people know who they are from their past, but they are steeped in the past, and for various and sundry reasons, many of them are without hope for the future.
If you know
What's up,
anything
DC?
about Memphis, Tennessee, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated there in 1968. What happened was anger
Emancipated, a lesson to one. But to watch it on TV, it was something. My goodness, here are the dogs.
So
I do a lot of speaking.
Not here in Birmingham.
And then when I go out talk to different groups, predominantly sometimes Black groups, and I ask them about George Wallace, ask them about Bull Connor, and
I spoke with his brother a couple times. I actually got his number.
Which party established the KKK? They all say the Republican Party.
Well, let me skip a little bit.
Black died in the wool Republic. It's tyranny. We have to educate. You have to enlighten. But he made it very good. Said that Negro let that.
Here we go. Here we go.
Apathy just comes in one form. It doesn't. Voter apathy comes in two forms. You have those who don't care enough to vote, and those who don't care enough how they vote. So this whole thing about how the government's becoming large, and it's the great enslaver now. The only thing is, it's not just enslaving Black Americans. The federal government is enslaving all Americans.
So check this out right here. Watch what they say right here. So he in D.C. now, Washington, D.C., Frederick Douglass House.
He said in one of his writings, and I think it was in 1852, but he made it very, he said that Negro, let him stand on his own 2 feet. If he falls, then let him fall. When you allow him to become, you do more harm to him than good. He was very much so clear about the involvement with the Civil War. He told Abraham Lincoln, blacks want to be free, let them fight for their freedom. He stood on some principles that many of us either forgotten or choose not to even learn about. And it really was about self-reliance, self-determination. You decide on where you're going to go, and then you work hard to get to that place. Don't wait for the system to do it for you.
Now, I got a stand-up meeting in about 12 minutes, so I'm gonna say this right here, man. That right there is the principles that I think we need more of in our community. What this brother just said. This brother just said Frederick Douglass was saying, hey, let Black people stand on their own too. Let them earn what they get. Let them eat what they kill, basically, in so many words. When it comes to Black people today, and this is, I got a little loud with the brother or whatever, but my thing is he's saying I was getting emotional. I did. To me, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times it's okay to show emotion. I think we live in a society where men aren't allowed to be emotional. Certain things I can get, it's called righteous indignation. One of the things I'm gonna get passionate about is us, our people, where we are. Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I speak a certain way. And when I see us going down a certain path that leads to destruction, I'm not gonna, that's like if you about to run us off a cliff and I'm like, hey man, if you make this turn up here, we're gonna go off the cliff. No, they ain't, man, what the fuck you doing, man? Damn, we about to be ready. That's how I'm gonna say it, right? I'm gonna say it with some passion. So when it comes to Black people and the whole ideology that Black people are where they are, and we need the government to come in and do this, you're against government. No, I wasn't against government. I said I believe in reparations. I'm not completely against government, but I think that for one, how do you get to the position to twist someone's arm? Because he kept talking about lobbyists. Lobbyists is literally twisting somebody's arm to make them give you what the fuck they want, what you want. You need power, wealth, and influence to twist a motherfucker's arm, right? Now, Black people have been in this country talking about reparations since I was a kid. I know I heard about reparations back with King. That's what the first thing they said. The reason they shot him when I asked about him was because they said he was trying to push for reparations, right? So we all know that we've been talking about this shit for 60 years. Has anybody organized a lobbyist group that's going to go and do anything for reparations? The only person I know that's even pushing for reparations is Dr. Claude Anderson. Well, if you talk about Dr. Claude Anderson, first thing he said, he couldn't get no money from black celebrities. He couldn't get no money from black people. He said Reggie White gave him some money, a couple other people gave him some money. But most white people, black people ain't even, these black celebrities aren't even willing to cut a check, let alone you and I out here on the streets. A lot of us don't want to cut a check, right? A lot of us feel like we don't have it. Why don't the celebrities do it? Well, the celebrities, if you took all their wealth, wouldn't be enough. You would need a larger group of us to be able to come together conglomerately, to be able to drop money in and start having lobbyists push to have a executive order for the descendants of slaves where they add loans that aren't credit based into the SBA that are backed by the federal government. That's an executive order. That ain't got shit to do with Congress and the Senate, right? That's the first step to moving towards reparations. So I'm not against government. I'm not, right? Those are straw man arguments. I'm for small government. I'm for individual freedom and choice. I'm for us having school choice. I'm for us having for children being born not killed in the womb, shit like that, right? But when it comes to certain things, I think that's the problem with us. It's election season, and black people. I mean, certain people they really upset that because they boy Bernie Sanders ain't gonna get in there, and a lot of these people, I bait them out with these little videos. I say certain things because I know that's how they think, that's how they operate. Government is not going to save black people. Black people are going to save black people. Black people, dare I say, bootstrapping. Like this brother said, that didn't work. That doesn't work. It does work. The thing is, we don't do it. Black people don't bootstrap. Black people are, why is it black people are the poorest segment of the population, yet they spend more of their money than anybody else? Black people, as a percentage, if we had to put down a percentage, who spends the most of their discretionary income and who saves the most? That should have been the complete opposite. Who spends the most? Black people. Who saves the most? Probably Asians. Actually, that is true. I looked that up. Asians invest in their 401k harder than anybody up until age 50 or something. Then all of a sudden it drops. Probably because a lot of them quit and take their money and pull it out and go do something with it. That's true. But up until age 50, see, I study this shit. I don't just come on the internet and pull shit out my ass. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you're not a socialist. I didn't even know you were still here, man ass. Okay, cool. So the point I'm trying to make is, and I'm explaining my point. The point I'm trying to make is that black people are not in a position to go to the government to petition for any fucking thing. They're not anybody, nobody's organizing this shit, right? All you're gonna do when you go to the government is ask and beg. You're not gonna come with any checks. If you try to get some, my thing is by now we should have already organized financially to get certain. If this shit was, if this shit really was the truth and that's really what we were gonna do, by now we should have been and done it. We're not gonna do it. And the first thing people say is, well, we can't, we don't have money. You telling me black people don't have money? I believe you full of shit. I believe that. I see that. When you say black people can't start their own businesses, you full of shit. Do you say black people have embraced a certain mentality? Most black people don't even think business, they think job. I will challenge anybody on that shit. Most black people, there's no way in hell you think you can talk now. When I say think job, this is why I'm saying think job. You got a lot of motherfuckers that you got to wean out. I'm not, dude, ain't everything I say ain't about you, dog. Stop being so damn narcissistic. I'm talking just in general. Not even talking about you. If you want to email me, we can talk about this shit offline, brother. If you really want to, I'd rather talk to you on the phone, okay? Because you really, every time you make a comment, you saying I'm putting labels. I'm not putting labels on you. I'm just going off your words, okay? There are a lot of black people in our community that talk shit about what they want, business this, business that, and yet they don't move in that direction. They're not taking action. How many, I think the numbers of black people that literally practice the principles that I'm talking about are in the single digits in percentage wise, out of the ones that even claim. If 100% of the people that say they want to start a business, which we talking about maybe 75% of black people would say some shit like that. How many of those people are, first of all, just fixing their credit? How many of those? Because black people have the lowest credit scores on record, right? That's just lack of discipline. Black people complain about education. Okay, all right, Menez, no problem. So black people complain about education. And let me say this, man, I might be getting into some of my students or some shit. I need to. I hate when shit like that happens. That's why I want to talk offline and see who I'm talking to, because I don't be knowing who I'm talking to. But the thing is, let me say this: a lot of, if you take that 100% of black people that say they want a business, and you say, hey, let's all break down and see who wants what and how things work, I guarantee you'll run into a small, or should I say, a large contingency of black people that really talk that shit, but ain't really about it. And if you really broke it down, say, all right, what's your credit score? 580. Okay. Why you got? Well, you know, I had got some people say I had some doctor bills. I had this. Why didn't you pay your bills? Man, shit, I ain't had the money. How much you make a year? I make about 55. 55? Where you live at? I got this apartment over there on so and so. How much is it? About 1,700. Okay, let's do the math. So you make 55,000. You divide that out. 1,700. Okay, your place is too high. You living above your means in your house. What type of car you got? Well, I got a 2017 so and so so and so. Oh, you got an SUV? Yeah. Okay, that's a gas guzzler. That's gonna eat you up, right? See, we get into the numbers, because you talking about 850, 900, maybe 850, $850 a month take home. Your rent should be about $1,000, roughly. Should be close to it. And that's that. If you take an 850 a week, 850 a week, your rent should be about $1,000, because that's a little bit high, but that's close to it, around 1,000. So you probably want to get a mortgage, because you can't live in a decent area, for rent at $1,000. So you giving up $700 a month right there that you could probably invest into starting a business. You just giving that shit up for rent, right? Then you start talking about your car note. Okay, that should be about 10% of your take home. I'm taking home $3,400 a month. $340 a month should be your car note total. That means your car shouldn't be no more than about $14,000 tops. You got an SUV, a $35,000 truck. Am I lying? This is the average black person. This is how we live. So now you paying $700 a month, $600 a month for a truck. I want something dependable. You can get a dependable car for about $4,000. So that's bullshit. This is the average black. This is how we live now, right? Okay. Then I walk in your house. What type of entertainment? You got the cable? Yeah. How much is that? Shit, man, about $180. Why are you paying $180 a month for cable? You only bring home $3,500 a month. You see how this shit work? This is the average black person. So what I just described is somebody who struggles and probably has about $200 a week left over for discretionary money. How many times they eat out a night? Okay, so you get what I'm saying? That's a person that can't save no money. That's a person who probably at work doesn't even want to invest an extra 3% of their check, because they under pressure because of the lifestyle that they live. I guarantee you this is the average black person. Not a lot of financial literacy, not a lot of economic. So that person that's making 55,000, and I got 2 minutes. Dang. That person that's making 55,000 can't come talk to me about no damn business, because they full of shit. They don't want to start no. You can't want to start a business when you can't tell me you want to start a business when you're doing some shit like that. You can't. That's just the bottom line. You cannot tell me that you want to start a business when you living below your means, when you're financially just not doing, above your means, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So when I say bootstrap, I'm talking about just a couple of things you can change in your life that'll help you. Just a few things. Get a mortgage. 580 is actually enough. You can still get a mortgage with a 580 credit score. And if you're paying $1,700 a month, technically you can get a mortgage. Let's say $1,000. That's a $250,000 house. Maybe 180, at least 200, close to 200, 180. In the South, that's a nice size house. Shit, you can, especially if it's new construction. Shit, you can sell. You can build your own house. You might actually get $100,000 building your own shit, because it'll be worth 280, and you spent 180. You get where it's going. So you technically will have. Oh yeah, what's the name was canceled today? Oh well, I can keep going with the video. I forgot what's the name was canceled. Let me look at my calendar, because the damn thing ain't. Yep, we ain't got no meeting today. Y'all in luck, man. We're gonna keep going. I got a meeting at 11:30. with some people for my class, but we got a little bit more time. Let me say this right here. The first thing you got to look at financially as a black person is what steps have you taken in your own life so that you can have money to start your own business. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. There isn't a black person in this country, in America, that has a job working a 9 to 5, right? That can't make certain changes most of the time. 9 times out, 99.9% of the time. I believe that. From exercise to spending habits, I can go and sit down with most people. How do I know this? Well, I know that because the average person that in America is in debt. Not just black. Everybody in America is in debt. Most of us are. Except black people, you at the bottom. So when they got a cold, shit, you got pneumonia. You get what I'm saying? You on death's door. So when white people get the flu, we're dead. You get what I'm saying? So black people in America try to live like we're white. A lot of us do. We try to live in this. We want to live in nice neighborhoods. I'm not talking about the hood. I'm not even talking about the hood. I'm talking about black people that live in nice neighborhoods are 9 times out of 10 the type of black people that have problems with shit that they don't want to deal with. They do. They don't want to fix certain things. For example, I know for a fact in Atlanta, there are black people that live in nice ass. I just rode through a black neighborhood, brand new construction, all black yesterday. I'm talking about 250, 300,000, which ain't a lot in Atlanta, but that's a decent house in Atlanta. It's all black people, which I love shit like that's why I live in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is everybody out there probably can't afford that shit, man. Some of them people living in these houses are struggling to pay these mortgages. A mortgage should be 25% of your take home. That's a lot of damn house with interest rates now. That's a lot. That's a lot of house that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, I just want y'all to look at this. Let me see what him and what's his name, Elliot and what's his name going. Let me see what they talking about. Let's see. I'm not waiting on government, but if everyone else is using government to get ahead, why can't we? Case in point, immigrants, LGBT, Fortune 500 companies, women, etc. Yeah, but the only difference is number one, immigrants are politically expedient for Democrats because they're gonna replace our ass. So that's why everybody's catering to immigrants. LGBT is really funded by small hat money. Fortune 500 companies, duh. You know what I'm saying? Women, that's social engineering. So you kind of, it's an elephant in the room that you're not paying attention to. Most of everything you just named. In fact, all of this stuff you just named, except not all Fortune 500 companies, but just everything you just put in this statement has to do with small hats in some way, shape, form, or fashion. In fact, even Fortune 500 companies, if you really look at a lot of the funding that they get, you get what I'm saying? They can control them too. The wealthiest market capitalization companies or actual capitalization, if you had to base it out on these companies in America, the wealthiest companies are ran by small hats in America. So I will make the case that everything that you just said was based on them. You know what I'm saying? He says because our government helped only others, not black people. Well, I mean, the number one thing in the country, you cannot help black folks. That everybody know that shit. That's part of the government. You see what y'all going at. Elliot Carter, are we Americans? If so, we should petition our government like all other groups. If not, they already have an advantage over you. You are a Yvette Carnell clone, brother. You are. You are. You sound just. We need to petition the government. Okay, go. That shit ain't gonna happen. Black people ain't petitioning the government. And the way government works in lobbyists, I just did a video on that shit the other day. And I showed you how these people lobby the government. You're talking about lobbyists. Where's the black think tank at? Name one outside of Dr. Claude Anderson. That's it. And the one that we have, black folks are shitting on it, talking about him. So I mean, Yvette and them don't even like Dr. Claude Anderson. That's the guy who really is preaching like what you're saying, except he understands the first floor is financial. You can't see you trying to go to government. Let me just explain how government works, guys. Government is like a Uber. I be telling people this shit. People don't listen to me. I'm gonna say it again. Government is like an Uber, right? You and I getting an Uber at the same time, right? I got money, you don't. I look at the guy in the Uber or the taxi or whatever, and I say, hey, take me cross town over there to so-and-so. Take me to Lenox Road. You say, no, man, I want you to take me to Conyers. Guess where the taxi's going? To Lenox Road. Now, the taxi driver will look at you and say, well, yeah, we gonna go to Conyers. I just need you to, hang on with me, stay with me. Meanwhile, I come in see, that's the thing. Black people come into this situation with just a vote. White people, or not necessarily white, wealthy people come into this situation with not with money. The politician wants to be reelected. You are the blind, uneducated masses. I can tell you whatever the fuck I want to tell you to get you to vote for me back in. So I don't worry about doing what I want to do for you. See, black people gonna vote Democrat anyway, right? They not so black. So it's not like they got to worry about if they don't do what black people want them to do, then they gonna get kicked out. No, black niggas is still gonna go vote their ass in. So fuck niggas. Let's do what the politician wants me to do. The guy that came in with the money, what did he say? He said, hey man, on this bill, slide this in, right? Slide an earmark in here for us. If you own a solar farm, you don't have to pay, you only pay 6% taxes. Okay, that's in the bill. So that's in the tax bill. So they pass a new tax bill. They don't say shit about it. Republicans are Democrat because I bought both of them out. So meanwhile, I own a solar farm. I'm paying 8%, 6%. Your ass is paying 35, 40%. You make 35,000. I make 35 million, right? But I pay 6%. And I sit there and see how that shit work. And then I pay both politicians to keep quiet about that shit and don't say nothing. If you say something about it, I'm gonna get your ass out of there. Now, all you know is they passed a tax bill. You are not only do you not know about it, they don't mention it unless you study the tax law. You will never know this shit, right? That's what happens. That's how that shit works. They do that shit all the time. Whatever they want done, they do it. They want, they say, hey, you know what? I want to see pedophilia normalized in society. How do we start? Well, let's start with the alphabet people. Let's go ahead and I tell you what, I want to see this in the education. All right, let's go revamp that. Write this out for me. Let's call it Common Core, right? All right. So they go and pay Obama. They go and pay people on Obama's side. Hey, you need to champion this. We're going to push this out, new education system. Okay, let's change. We want to put new math in there. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's how we want it. Okay, we're going to dumb your ass down as much as possible. We don't want people having choice and ability to think for themselves. So what happened? They dumb the shit down. They pay the lobbyists. That shit get forced through. In fact, let's push it through the AEA, NEA, whatever they call it. And that's what happens. Next thing you know, everybody's around here doing new math and all that shit. Meanwhile, they forcing your kids to learn about that alphabet shit, which is what they want anyway, right? Now, that shit is normal. They put that shit on television. This is how they do, right? Next thing you know, you think a certain way. Then now they're gonna start talking about pedophilia. There's already people talking about that shit. I done seen speeches with people talking about how they should be able to sleep with a child, and it's wrong that they can't have sex with a child and shit. Like, I'm telling you, really got people thinking like that, right? This is what they do. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that shit works. We don't understand that shit though. We think you just gonna go petition the government with nothing in hand. Okay, good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? If we are at war, we need to act like it. That means everybody needs to be made aware of it. Okay. No taxation without representation. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else he's saying here. No, they cannot. Our problems are too big to take care of ourselves. For example, do you know how much money it will take to fix infrastructure in Flint? Fuck Flint. Just move. Shit. We don't own Flint. Shit. We probably, most of us up there renting any damn way. You ain't got to stay in Flint, Michigan. That's some peripheral shit, man. Your shit be peripheral. You'll just pull some shit up and say, look at Flint. We can't fix that. So how are we gonna do this? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Move. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Just move. You ain't got to stay there. Those small hats make millions off blacks. Why would they have to change their economic dynamic? We must change this without government. Yep. Black folks don't want to talk about their money. They think their vote is don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We think we just gonna. You think somehow just because you got a vote, the Uber's gonna go where you want it to go. That's just not the issue, bro. That's just not gonna fix. You're not gonna be able to. My thing is, if Flint, Michigan's fucked up, that's Flint, Michigan's problem. Why don't you just get the fuck out of Flint, Michigan, and go where the shit ain't fucked up? How about that? All the black people don't have to be okay. It's a predominantly black town. Okay, it's fucked up. How did it get fucked up? Huh? Because actually, the government officials in Flint were given money to fix it, just like New Orleans, right? These government officials were given money to fix the levees. What happened? They didn't do it, did they? Government didn't do what the fuck they said. They took that money and diverted it, didn't it? Government don't work like what the fuck. You can't just vote. Because the reason we're at a disadvantage, guys, is because we think somehow we're gonna vote and bring some guy in who's gonna be loyal, and it never happens, right? And then we wind up being stuck with somebody who really is in there. And like, let's say you get some super red, black, and green party, right? And then we got all these black people. Yeah, I'm pro-black. I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. You know, like in CB4, right? He goes, he takes his ass to Washington. Now niggas ain't got no money. We're not even organizing. We not. All we know is we put somebody in there, and they in there for our interest. So we give them a bullet point. We said we want you to push for black business ownership. We want you to push for. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck gonna happen. He gonna get his ass up there. You got all these senior members of Congress and Senate, right? They gonna come and say, okay, I know that's what they told you, but this is what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna tell you who we saw that happen to: the Tea Party. What happened? We saw it happen to the Tea. Now the Tea Party was able to do some things and change some effect change, because they did have more money. They had money, right? But even with the Tea Party, good example, I'm from Montgomery, Martha Roby. She's a congresswoman. Martha Roby got moved. She went to the Senate. She was all Tea Party this, Tea Party that. And then a lot of shit started happening, and she was voting with Boehner and all them. And they had these town halls, and people in Alabama was calling, because I was still living there. People in Montgomery was calling the talk shows in the morning, tearing her ass a new one. They was going off on her. She's supposed to be a Tea Party candidate. She's this, she's that. We need to get her out of there. And then they say, we've been calling her house, calling her office. She doesn't answer the phones. This is the basic shit. This is how government works, guys. So what you do is, obviously you say, well, if that's the case, the Tea Party had money. People didn't get, well, yeah, but Washington is a battle you don't fight at first. You don't fight there. That's not what you fight. And you also pick battles that you can win. The Tea Party going and draining the swamp of Washington, good luck. That shit, the closest we see to that is Trump. I think that's it. I mean, that's the closest you're going to get. You see what they did to Ron Paul. They wouldn't have never let his ass in there. They would have, if he had got the nomination, they'd have shot his ass. I'm telling you right now, they weren't going to let him in there. He's talking about auditing the Fed. That shit wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I think what happens is, guys, we need to make sure that we're intelligent about this shit and strategic about the shit we do. Going into government, asking for or petitioning people to give us something based on morality has never worked. It has to be politically expedient for them to do whatever the fuck they're going to do for black people. I'm going to say that again. It has to be politically expedient, which means there has to be some sort of way you can grab them motherfuckers and twist their own bitch. If you don't do this, I'm going to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Do it. Okay. And the next thing you know, they go out and they do what they do, right? You talking about ideologues getting in office. That's what an ideologue is. You talking about somebody that believes in ideals and certain principles, and they'll follow those principles. System be damned. Fuck it. This was what I'm gonna do because this is what I believe in. It ain't enough black people. You can't find 5 ideologues and put them in the same room. You can't. You cannot find 5 black people that really have certain principles. Most black people will sell out for money. Most of them will. Y'all don't want to hear me. Y'all don't want to hear me this morning. You know what I'm saying? Most black people that talk about this shit, I believe Yvette and Tone ass will sell out for money. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. That's why that's what they said. Vote straight down Democrat. Didn't they say that shit? Why the fuck would I vote straight down a party ticket and try to ignore the presidential race? Why the fuck would you do that? How is that benefiting black? That's the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. Vote straight down Democrat. That's the type of niggas we got out here. So they bought out. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. They can be bought out, right? People, we don't have that many people that are real idealists, people that follow ideals and principles. We're not very principled. We go to the highest bidder. Most of that shit has been plaguing us since the damn 1500s. Who, people sellouts. So I'm sorry. You may have a brother that really believes in some shit. Kwame Kilpatrick, right? What happened? He got in there. From what I hear, people that I knew that knew him, brother started off, he had some good intentions. He did. Money. Brother got up there. It ain't no real black infrastructure. Nobody black is okay. Well, explain to me what straight down Democrat means. Because I heard 3 or 4 people say that's what it was. Tell me what it means, straight down Democrat, because I'm sure you vote straight down Democrat. You tell me, Menez. Menez, you've been really coming at me hard. I told your ass to email me. You won't. Email me, send me the motherfucking link. Let's see what time it is. I got time today, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I got time today. Send me the link. Because you always got something to say. I'm telling you right now that most black people, when she said that shit, thought she meant go and vote straight down the damn party ticket, party lines. That's what she's talking about. That's what it is, man. I agree. Tone and Yvette aren't what we need. I do think we need reparations. I agree. Reparations is needed. It is warranted. However, how do we get there? Because I think that's the thing. I think Menez is an ideologue. You want to hold some shit, even damn the system, right? You think you finna go, well, 75% of American people don't believe we deserve shit now. But you think you finna go and go into Washington and get what? What you going? First of all, your ass ain't even finna make it. You're not even finna get the Democrat number. Let me tell you something. The Democrats, black Democrats, will fight you tooth and nail for the shit you talking. Not you. You got to deal with niggas, black Democrat to the core, hardcore Democrats gonna fight your ass, man. As you talking about reparations, shit. Good luck. Them white folks ain't finna let the Congressional Black Caucus breathe without fighting your ass. They won't let you get in there. So I'm sorry. Like, we got to really look at the political landscape of America and make smart, intelligent decisions. Go for lower hanging fruit first. Business. Let's empower black people by economically empowering them. And I even talk about government, but you still got to think I'm your enemy and say, well, hey, man, maybe we can lobby Donald Trump to pass some bill that will, not a bill, fuck that. We can lobby Donald Trump through executive order to add a regulation. That's what the government does anyway. That's what presidents do with the executive order. They'll go and write some shit and it'll change the IRS. They'll change the DEA. They'll change shit. The government can change. The president can change the powers of certain government entities by executive order. You do not need Congress and the Senate to get that shit, right? So all you got to do is get to a president and say, man, this is what we want. I'm giving you a real tangible that I'm looking for us to have. So what did he say? He said it means you vote for candidates that have black agenda for your party locality. And if you don't have a politician to vote, leave it blank. Okay, so what does that mean? See, that's some broad shit. That means straight Democrat to me, brother. That still means straight Democrat. That still means straight Democrat. Most black people think Democrats are on their side. So you know that. I hate to say this is gonna sound fucked up. We like children, man. Black people ain't, sophisticated enough politically to go and vote in the damn voting booth and be able to have vetted all of and the Yvette knew that shit. Straight down Democrat. Most black people that I spoke with and that I saw that were even on her side said what I said, which meant straight down the party line, Democrat. That's what that shit meant. Well, they don't have our best interest. I'm for Social Security, welfare, Section 8, and food stamps. Oh, that's for black people. Most black people have a low bottom. What did Carter G. Woodson say? What did he say? Well, let me see what he said. Carter G. Woodson quotes. Carter G. Woodson said that same damn thing. Brother, because they have not defined a black agenda. Brother, you really trying to, this is ego, man. This is an ego thing. You know damn well most black people think a black agenda has to do with just being Democrat. You know that shit. There's no separation for a lot of niggas, man. You know that shit. You black, you know that. You know damn well what I'm talking about. So that mean vote straight Democrat. I knew you was trying to split hairs with my ass when you said that shit. Like, huh? I want you to tell me what that is, because I've never, you know, says when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. He will find his proper place, in quotes, and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will protest until one is made for his use. His education demands it. So what I'm saying is, I think a lot of black people demand that Section 8 welfare and food stamps, which is the back door now. That's not only is that the back door, that's like if we got a table and we got all this money stacked up and a quarter rolls off the table and falls on the floor. You know what, you can have that. That's usually what black people fight and protest to have. Bottom feeder shit, man. So exactly. Thank you, Elliot. That's what that means right there. Black people, when you say vote straight down Democrat, black folks mistook. Look, if I know that, you think most black people don't know that? You think most black people don't think that when you say vote down Democrat, that what they mean is, and why did she say Democrat then? Let's examine that shit for a second. Why was it down Democrat then? Why not just say vote down black agenda? Why would you say vote down Democrat? Because she knows she dealing with some dumb motherfuckers. She knows she dealing with dumb, uneducated masses. When you say down Democrat, vote straight party line and just leave the damn presidential race empty. That's what that shit means. You know what I'm saying? You're against universal policies. Cool. Those Democrats you talking about you gonna try to split, you got some problems, brother. You got some problems, man. You can't be against immigration. You talking about anybody, Democrat talking about for a black agenda. Ain't nobody in the Democrat. Name a Democrat that's gonna get the mainstream electorate of the Democrat Party or the mainstream powers and the establishment without being pro-immigrant. You see what I'm saying? That shit, you got some shit in your mind. You are ideologue, brother. You feel like these are the principles. There ain't nobody pro-black in the fucking Democrat Party. They pro-immigrant. They'll say people of color and all that shit. So your ass, you gonna catch hell. You gonna catch hell, man. Ass. You got this idea in your mind that, yeah, man, I'm that straight down Democrat doesn't mean that, although that's what it's called. But straight down Democrat, no, it means that I'm gonna vote only for those that have a black agenda. You ain't voting for nobody. You are an ideologue by definition. You are. That's not an insult. Damn, get off. Ideologue. Let me look up the definition and read it to you. Ideologue. Let's look up the definition of the word ideologue so we can get to it. You hold adherent of an ideology, especially one who is uncompromising and dogmatic. Let me take this and put this up here. We gotta have class today. Class is in session. Let me put this in here for you. Put this in the chat. There you go. That's the definition right there. Ideologue. I put the sound spelling in there for you. Learn to pronounce noun adherent of an ideology, especially one who is uncompromising and dogmatic. A conservative ideologue. You are an ideologue. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh man. You are ideologue, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't need black people, they have Hispanics. They are more exactly. That's the thing, they don't. So the thing is, most Democrats that y'all think y'all gonna vote for, what is your ideology? I don't know. You just said anybody that supports a black agenda. So I'm assuming you have a black agenda that you haven't and nobody has ever defined in words. I don't have a website I can even go to say that shit. And if you do have a website, 99% of black people don't know what a motherfucker is. But yet I'm supposed to follow some shit that only a fraction of black people understand and even know about, right? 99% of niggas out here on the street, if I even said Yvette and Tone, don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to follow some shit that I don't even know what it is. So that's what it is. We can't even agree on that shit. We don't agree on it. So, I mean, when you talk about a black agenda, some people think women's choice is part of a black agenda. Some women would think that a woman killing a baby is part of a black agenda. That's some shit we have not defined. And if we have, okay, yeah, I got this website, and right here it says these are the bullet points. Black people don't know. Black people should have some shit written out. This is what it is. This is what the black agenda is. You should be able to point me to a website, give me links, something, right? Most people don't give you that shit. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't. Let me see what this is. I got a meeting in a minute. Let me see what this is. Lifting the veil, workspace. Okay. Most people don't. You know what I'm saying? That's real. So I got a meeting at 11:30. I'm gonna call. You can. All right. I'm gonna call him at 11:30. So I don't think, guys, nobody's actually giving us any real substantive answers. I think that's the thing, and I think ego has played a part in this thing. But I think, you know what? I think this is an illustration of where we are as a people. Hold on one second. Anyway, I hate them damn automated calls. But yeah, so nobody has a code laid out, and if they do, I ain't saying nobody has a code because that's unfair. I'm sure there are plenty of people that have a code. But the thing is, the 45 million black people in America don't know what that motherfucker is. It's not laid out. It's not. And we've been talking like this for shit since the 80s. Ain't no, I don't see shit. I've seen a couple of posts on Facebook. This is the black agenda. They name it. It'd be some good shit. I'd be like, okay. Economics. Everybody kind of has certain things that are pro-family principles. All that shit is laid out. The closest thing I see to a black agenda, and this is gonna sound real blasphemous to say, is the black conservatives. A lot of the shit that the black conservatives say. A lot of what they say is a black agenda. We don't think like that. I just gave you the principles that this brother just talked about with Frederick Douglass. I think that's it, man. I think that's what we need. I have my own that has different things I think we could benefit. Yeah. And you know what? I'm all open to hear that, brother. I'm open to hear that. I'm open to hear it. I don't have no problem with it. I think we don't have, right now, it has not been laid out. We are not organized. We got so many motherfuckers. You got communist, socialist motherfuckers. You got pro-capitalist motherfuckers like me. You got different people, and all of us should be able to come together, be it socialist, communist, atheist, Christian, Muslim, Hotep, whatever, and all agree as black people that this is for our benefit, right? This is what we should be pushing and striving to have, right? And once we got that, then what we need to do is be able to say, okay, now that we got this, how do we move? So candidates need to identify with this or get the fuck on. If you're not going to push this agenda forward, then I think that's a problem. No, I don't listen to the Black Blank Trust. In fact, I got a couple emails from them. They said they wanted to have me on there one time. I never did hit them back. I will try to be on there with them. But I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with us having ideals and things that we push for and strive for as a team, as a people. You know, I don't have no problem. Of course, we got to have that. But I think in the midst of that, I think to demonize black people that's saying, hey, man, we need to be more entrepreneurial. We need to be, I'll never, ever tell black people that doesn't work. We're the only people in America that think that doesn't work. Show me one segment of black people that tell me starting a business won't you? I mean, even liberals in certain places say that shit, but when they talk about that shit, they talking about us. We're the only people that actually have that type of people out here saying shit like that about us. You're too stupid to run your own businesses. You're too stupid to have this and have that. They don't say it like that, but that's exactly what they're talking about. I think that's the real problem we have, man. They Democrats, and they always have their vote. They'll always have their vote. Yes and no. Yes and no. You could get the black woman's vote. I don't think all black women are just stupid like that. I don't. I believe you can get a sizable amount of the black woman's vote if you lay out why your shit makes sense. It is on us as people that are as leaders in this community, in this situation, to get out here and basically lay out why our ideas make sense for the collective of the black community. That's your job. You can't just say, well, this is best, but black women gonna da da da. No, black women, I think they will get on board if certain things are laid out and they see where they will benefit. Because this system right now, they got a net worth of $5. They fucked up in the game right now. Like, they can talk that shit. I'm all the women independent. You can talk all that independent shit all you want to. You broke, you struggling, you ain't getting married, your family's been destroyed, your cousin fucked up, your brother in jail. No, black women are fucked up in the game too. If somebody comes with some real substantive, tangible benefits that they can see where they will benefit, I believe they'll go towards it for their own self-interest. Black people need to see why this shit is in our own self-interest. And I know people don't want to hear this shit. You need to be able to describe to whites and everybody else in America why this is in their self-interest for black people to become empowered. Because half the shit that the conservatives bitch about, they can stop bitching about if black people had some shit coming their way. You like, well, why? That shit ain't fair. Yes, it is. It's either you give me something through Section 8 welfare and food stamps, or you aggregate that shit and help me to start my own businesses, help me to start something so I can control my own and have my own. And I can get the fuck out from around you and live in my own communities and have my own shit. See what I'm saying? Let me go, man. I got a meeting. Y'all have a good one. I might jump back on here later, man. Y'all have a good one. What did he say, right? Let me see what he said. Blacks from third world countries have different mindset because we have to start our own businesses because we can't just go get a job. Okay. And shit, and guess what? Blacks from third world countries kick ass when they come to America. More so than white people do. Let me go, man. Y'all have a good one. I did that backwards. Let me end this. I clicked the damn button backwards. My bad. Now I'm ending it. Y'all have a good one.